Thank you, Mr. President. I wish to thank SRSG Abu Musa for his briefing, and many thanks also to Special Envoy Ambassador Madeira for his information on the AU-led regional initiative against the LRA. Mr. President, the humanitarian impact of the scourge of the LRA is unspeakable. It does not depend on the size of the LRA, but on its massive use of violence, including sexual violence against women and children, abductions, and horrifying attacks. It has uprooted hundreds of thousands of civilians across the Central African Republic, the DRC, Congo, and South Sudan. The ability of the LRA to operate across national borders, exploiting weak state authority in the region, stresses the urgent need for a comprehensive, coherent, and coordinated approach. The threat posed by the LRA to regional stability needs to end. The human consequences of the LRA atrocities need to be addressed. The protection of children deserves our special attention, as the LRA is synonymous with the brutal abduction and use of children as child soldiers, porters, spies, and sex slaves. As chair of the Security Council Working Group on Children in Armed Conflict, we will ensure a close follow-up on the latest report of the Secretary General on the situation of children in armed conflict affected by the LRA and strive for comprehensive recommendations. We reiterate that a durable solution to the LRA threat required both military efforts carried out in compliance with international humanitarian and human rights law, and non-military efforts, including enhanced humanitarian aid and development measures. Mr. President, it's against this background that I would like to highlight 3 points. First, the governments of Uganda, Central African Republic, and the DRC and South Sudan are ultimately responsible for ending the LRA threat and for protecting their civilians. They need to be in the lead. Their political commitment and cooperation at state, military, and community level are indispensable. We therefore want to encourage them to make the response to the LRA a national priority, to further strengthen their collaboration, and to invest all necessary resources in the implementation of the AU initiative against the LRA. We commend the support that is provided in this regard by the United States to the affected countries. Successful rehabilitation and reintegration of ex-LRA combatants can promote further defections. We therefore want to encourage the countries in the region to put in place policies supporting defections, including through comprehensive DDRRR programs, and to ensure a common approach with respect to a legal framework on the treatment of ex-LRA and abductees that have escaped from the LRA. My second point, we welcome the close collaboration between SRSG Abu Musa and Special Envoy Madeira in support of the AU initiative against the LRA. We consider the African Union involvement to be essential to strengthen coordination, information sharing, and trust among the 4 militaries of the LRA-affected countries. We also encourage the African Union to prioritize protection of civilians and to implement a strategy in this regard. All military efforts against the LRA need to put the protection of civilians, notably also of children, front and center. And my third point, we strongly welcome and support the UN regional strategy to address the LRA. It provides a good basis to improve cross-border mechanisms and regional intermission cooperation in all relevant fields. We commend UNOCA for its leading role in coordinating the strategy and all UN actors for their contributions. Mr. President, the cooperation between MINUSCO in Congo and UNMISS in South Sudan to extend MONUSCO's regional LRA communication strategy is a good example of enhanced intermission cooperation that is already in place. Further efforts are needed. We therefore encourage the swift implementation of the strategy. This will require the full commitment of all UN actors and external partners. The successful implementation will also depend on further support by the international community. Germany is committed to contribute to this end. Apart from humanitarian assistance provided to LRA-affected communities, we will support the expansion of MONUSCO's standard operating procedures for DDRRR across the region. The project will also provide support to sensitize LRA combatants with the aim of encouraging defections. All activities will also include capacity building of national actors, including civil society. UNOCAR's follow-up on the regional strategy will be important and needs to remain a priority. The Security Council should be kept informed accordingly by a report of the Secretary-General as suggested in the PRST prepared by the UK delegation, which we fully support. Mr. President, turning finally to UNOCA's wider role, we commend SRSG's Musa and UNOCA for their contribution to peace and stability in the Central African region. We support the work's priorities as set out in the report of the Secretary-General, in particular supporting the capacity building of economic community of Central African state in the field of early warning and conflict prevention, enhancing maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea, and supporting the AU-led efforts to address the LRA threats. These areas should remain the core of UNOCAR's activities. We welcome the established working relations between UNOCAR and UN Regional Office for West Africa, UNOVA, and the envisaged joint initiative on terrorism and illicit flow weapons across the two sub-regions. Given UNOCA's limited resources, it will remain crucial to prioritize its work program and to focus on specific activities. In closing, I want to express our support for the SRSG and UNOCA, including UNOCA's mandate renewal in August. I thank you, Mr. President.
我感谢德国代表的发言。现在我请多哥代表发言。